Buying a car can be your second biggest purchase next to buying a house.
And of course, with the rise of the internet, how to buy a car has completely changed since Owen's day. With Auto Trader and CarWow, there's a lot of different ways you can buy one, but also we know there are a lot of people out there that just don't know about cars. And for that reason, we wanted to make a video as a one-stop shop so that when you go and spend your hard-earned money, you can watch this and make sure that you're making a good investment.
Since Owen's day, you make me sound like a dinosaur. Now, back in the Max Power era, which some of you may remember, we didn't have online. We had a magazine, and the magazine came out every week, and you had to wait every week for that magazine to come out, and it had the classified ads with people selling their cars. But today we can go online and we can look at any of the platforms that are used car sales, or new car if you're after a new car, and we can narrow down our search to look for the specific car that we're looking for. Now, personally, what I'm looking for is a good MOT history. If the car has been failing MOTs or having advisories on it from one year to the next, it just kind of strikes me that that car hasn't been particularly well looked after, especially if it's things like tyres that it's failed on, because I would expect somebody that loves that car to be looking after it and checking things like the tyres regularly. When you're buying your car, you've got a choice between buying privately or buying from a dealership. You're now faced with your first important choice. Do you buy from a dealer or do you buy privately? Now, Calvin, who's an expert in his field, is going to explain the pros and cons of either.
So, my name's Calvin and I'm a used car dealer. George has reached out to see if I could do a little piece for this video explaining what I feel the differences are between buying from a used car dealer and buying from a private seller. And I think I'm going to use this Audi R8 as a bit of an example. If you buy this car from a dealer today, you will probably pay £70,000 for it. But for your £70,000, you're going to get absolute peace of mind, generally, if you buy it from a good, reputable dealer. You're going to get guaranteed mileage. You're going to get a HPI check certificate with your car. You're going to get a warranty. Yeah, you're going to get standard retail warranty. You're also going to get option of having an extended warranty. You can buy exchange your car. You can get finance on the car with the dealer as well. There's so many ways that you can benefit from buying this car from a used car dealership. The negative is, through some people's eyes, is you overpay for the car. But it's convenient, it's there, it's available, it's been fully prepared, ready for sale. If you bought this exact same car from a private seller, you will probably find that it's cheaper. But for your less money, say £65,000, maybe as little as £60,000, which is a big saving through most people's eyes, but you get zero peace of mind. That private seller can sell you anything. They don't need to provide you with a HPI or a car vertical check certificate. They don't need to provide you with any peace of mind. They just sell the car to you and it's entirely on you. You don't get any rights, you don't get a warranty, you can't get finance on the car. The car generally won't be prepared, it won't be prepared certainly to a retail standard, and the whole sale, the responsibility of that sale is entirely on you as the buyer. If you feel like saving money is your priority, then go and buy from a private seller. But of course that comes with risks. If peace of mind is your absolute priority, then go and buy from a used car dealer.
The reason we started this channel is for the love of modified cars.
Absolutely.
And George and I have both been on the driveway underneath cars, tinkering with them since we learned to drive, and we can afford to buy our own car. However, when it comes to buying a car, what should we be looking for? If it's me and I'm going to look at a modified car, what I want to see is the documented history of what's been done to that car. Absolutely. And who's done it.
Yeah.
Because I want to be sure that the components are good, that they've used, and also that it's been done properly. And that's pretty critical, because what I don't want to be buying is a car that's got cut springs or modifications that are unsafe and potentially going to get me in trouble later down the line. But also insurance, George. You need to tell the insurance company what's on that car, because in the event of a claim, they're not going to be interested in what you might have thought was on that car. They're only interested in what actually is on that car. So if you can get from the seller a documented history that shows everything that's been done to that car, then you can go to the insurance company, give them all those details, and then everything's good.
Now, Owen, on that note, when you're looking at buying a used car, one of the biggest problems is what you can't see. The bodywork might look good, the interior might be spotless, but what about the hidden faults? Now that's where Carly comes in. I've been using the Carly app and scanner, and it's one of the best tools you can have when checking out a car. Plugs right into the OBD port, connects right to your phone, and it gives you instant access to your car's health. Here's the clever bit. Carly doesn't just pull up generic codes. It gives you detailed diagnostics specific to the manufacturer. On this BMW, I can tell if there's any hidden engine, transmission, or electronic issues that the seller didn't tell me about. And if you're like me and you want to get a little bit nerdy with your car, Carly also allows you to unlock coding features. That means you can unlock hidden features, customize settings, and make the car more personal to you. So if you guys are serious about buying a car, Carly will give you the peace of mind before you hand over your money. And plus, once the car's yours, you can monitor the car's health and customize it to your liking. Now, in addition to diagnostics and coding, Carly also have a used car history checker. So to check for things like mileage tampering and MOT history, why not use the link in the description section and use code GCM15 that's popping up here on the screen now to save yourself some money when buying one of these. Guys, I wouldn't be buying a used car without one, so go grab yourself one, but let's get back to finding out what to look for when buying a modified car.
So the RS is quite a heavily modified example, but if I went to look to buy this, the first thing that would strike me would be the intercooler, because you can clearly see the Revo on the intercooler. Now for me, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, well it's had an upgraded intercooler, that's not cheap. Nobody's going to just upgrade the intercooler and not do anything else to the car. So that's going to make me think, right, okay, what else has been done to it? And if we pop the bonnet, we can then see we've got things like the intake, we've got the coolant hosing, we've got the header tank, and they're just the things that we can see straight off. But then we look further around the car and all of a sudden we've got non-standard wheels, and we've got the huge brake kits, and then moving to the back we've got things like the exhaust and that on it. So when it comes to the exhaust, I'm thinking, okay, is the exhaust on this car that I'm looking at legal? Has it been decatted or anything like that? Because if it has been, that's likely to get me into trouble if I buy that car and I get caught out on the road with it. So, you know, there's all things that are pointing on this car to the fact that it's had a lot more done to it than maybe I can see from the surface. Now, if I was going to go and look at something like a BMW that I would admit I'm not the greatest expert on, I would be looking at the online reviews and stuff like that. There is so much information out there on things like YouTube or any other of the social media platforms that you can find out loads of information about things that can go wrong with that car or things to look for on that car. So just spend a bit of time doing that research, and if you've got a friend that knows about that model of car, then take them with you when you look at it.
Now, whether you're selling a car and people want to come around to your house and look at it in person, or of course you're going to someone's house to buy a car, what tips and tricks would you recommend to the viewer watching to make sure that they do it properly?
So that's a really difficult one. If you're selling the car, then you don't want people that are coming with dishonest intentions and not really looking to buy the car coming to your house. But if you're looking to buy the car, you want to be going to the seller's house so that you can check all the addresses and everything on the documents to make sure that you're buying the legitimate car from the person that is entitled to sell you their car, or the owner. So that's a really difficult one. You just need to protect yourself. You know, if you are going to meet somebody, then perhaps take somebody with you as well. But then from the seller's perspective, you know, just make sure that you build up that relationship with the person that's coming so that you kind of, both of you are happy that you're meeting up in the correct place. But most certainly, don't meet somebody in a neutral place like a car park, because that to me would be a big red flag that the seller doesn't want me to come to their house for some reason.
When you buy a car online or from a dealer without seeing it in person, distance selling laws apply. That means you usually have 14 days to change your mind and return it for a full refund. The dealer must give you clear information about the car and your rights up front. So always check the paperwork and know where you stand before handing over your money. Now let's imagine you were looking at this Porsche GT4 RS on Auto Trader, and of course you couldn't drive to where it was because it's a little bit too far away. Why not ask the seller to send you a WhatsApp video in high definition so you can see the overall condition? You can maybe also see the documents and any work that's been done to it, but don't forget things like panel gaps as well. That is also really important. When you finally get to see that car in person, you must check for things like overspray, check the condition on the tires, look at the brakes, maybe any curb rashing, ask to know about the modification history or any history in general. But you must know, guys, it's completely okay as you're about to hand over your hard-earned money that if it's not the car for you, that you simply walk away. Now with finance, it can be really useful if there's a problem with that car after you buy it. The finance company owns the car, so they will help you if you need it. And that's because they have more power than you do in a dispute with a dealer. We've done a lot of videos in the past about a phrase that a lot of people that are pulled over like to say, and that's, "Officer, I bought it like that." Now, Owen, on that note, what kind of things could the viewer look out for when they've gone to view the car they want to purchase to make sure that they can find out in advance that actually that's not standard the way it was when it left the factory?
I think you can do some of that before you even get to viewing the car. So if you contact the seller, you can generally gauge from the seller if they're being honest about what they're selling. So if it's got a remap on it, you want to know what that remap is, for instance. And if the seller's being honest with you, then that's not a problem, because then you know. So when you go and actually look at the car, if you don't know what you're looking at, take somebody with you who does. If George is going to look at, let's say, the BMW, he doesn't know anything about a BMW, but maybe I do know about BMWs, then probably the best person to take would be me.
Now, building up a rapport with someone that wants to come to your house and looking at your car is, of course, really important. But there's a really popular scam going around that you might want to tell them about.
Yeah, so this happens to my brother-in-law, actually. He had 3 people turn up to look at his car. One kept him talking while one of the others was under the bonnet, because they'd asked him to pop the bonnet. And then when they went out on the test drive, the car started developing faults and a lot of smoke was coming out. And what it turned out was that they put some oil into the header tank, which was causing the smoke. And then they tried to knock him down on price by telling him that it obviously had a head gasket problem.
Absolutely.
He didn't fall for that scam, fortunately, but that is one that we do hear about. Now, after all your hard work doing the checks and finding the car that you like, now is the time where you can test drive it. And it's very different doing that at a dealership to it is from a private sale. And there's a few things that you need to consider. Let's have a look at those.
When you test drive a car, it's super important to make sure that you're covered by your insurance. Now, of course, when you're at a dealership like us now at Castle Motors, they're likely to have their own insurance, so you won't need to worry there.
However, if it's a private sale and you want to test drive the car, then there's a couple of things you need to consider. Most of that is around the insurance. So the car that you're looking to buy must have its own dedicated cover, unless you are specifically insuring it yourself for the test drive, which is quite unusual. Normally people will rely on drive other vehicles on their own personal insurance. So that is often known as DOV cover, DOV, but drive other vehicles. But in order to use that, this vehicle must have a dedicated policy. And if you're the seller, you must remember that if somebody's driving it on DOV cover, then it's only covered third party. So if they were to have a crash in it, it's unlikely you'd get any money back.
So I found the car that I want to take out for a test drive, and as you can see, it's a Renault Megane RS. You're going to want to listen out for knocks, bangs and rattles, and just make sure that the car is in good health. Now, there's also other things to bear in mind. Do you even enjoy driving it? Is it the kind of car you need? Does it run the way that you want it to? And does it look cool enough? Because those things, believe it or not, are actually quite important. But let's take this thing out for a test drive. Renault Meganes have got a great reputation, and I can't wait to give it a go. As an ex-car salesman, I've got some advice that could help you if you choose to come to a dealership and buy through them. Now, usually when you come to a dealership, a car will have a sticker price. And if you want to pay cash, you can pay that sticker price, drive the car off the lot, and you own it outright with no concern. One of the advantages of coming to a dealership is, of course, they offer you finance. And now there are 2 types of finance. Firstly, HP, hire purchase, and secondly, PCP, personal contract purchase. In short, HP, they take the sticker value of the car, divide it over the months that you choose to do the agreement for, and there you go. You might end up with a slightly higher payment, but that's more often than not what people tend to go with. But there is also PCP, which tends to apply to newer vehicles. It has a balloon payment at the end, meaning the monthly payment's a little bit smaller, but when it comes to the end of the agreement, you've got to either pay off the balloon payment, refinance it, or simply choose another car.
Now, I'm not a warranty expert, but this is personal experience. You need to be a little bit careful about the service history that your car comes with, because if you've got a warranty claim on something like the engine, the warranty company are going to ask whether your car has been serviced to manufacturer specifications. So if you can't prove that your vehicle has been serviced to those specifications, i.e. the correct oil that's gone in it, the air filters and all that kind of stuff, then you may have a problem with that warranty claim on an engine failure, for instance. Similarly, if you remap the vehicle, then potentially the warranty company could say, well, hang on a minute, that's not how it left the factory, that's not what we warranted, so we may not pay out on that. Now, another little bit of research that you need to do before you go and look at the car you're thinking about buying is having a look at where the VIN numbers, so the vehicle identification numbers, are on that car. So on this one, we've got one here in the windscreen, and then there's another one down inside the door stamped into the chassis. Now obviously nobody wants to buy a cloned car, and sometimes it's quite difficult to spot those signs that a vehicle might be cloned. So a little while ago we teamed up with Matt Watson from CarWow, and we had a little look at some things for you to look out for.
So here we have, like I found there's the VIN number there.
I mean, look and see whether any of the paint's different. So where that's been stamped in there, does anything look different there to what the car that you looked at in the dealership looked like as well?
It looks fine. It's just a slight issue that VIN number won't actually correlate to that registration.
Yeah, so you need to be checking all those numbers and letters against what you're being presented with the V5 as well.
So someone has cloned the car and they've done a really good professional job, and then you run a history check on the car, it's just going to come back clean, isn't it?
The company that's running the check are only going to check the numbers that you give them, so you need to just do as much as you possibly can to make sure that those numbers are correct. If there's anything about what we've said or anything about that car that makes you just think, it's a red flag, and for me, I would just be walking away.
And is there another thing that kind of just might raise your suspicion if, like me, you're advertising the car substantially under list value?
Yeah, it's another red flag, isn't it? You know, why nobody's there to do you a favour. Everybody wants to make as much money as possible. If you do buy it, then the chances are you're going to lose both the car and your money.
Because if something seems too good to be true.
It generally is.
Making sure you don't waste your hard-earned money on a vehicle is of course of top priority, and naturally doing a full history check on the vehicle you're about to buy is very important. But also remember, you don't want to be paying out for history checks on vehicles until you're actually sure that the car you're looking at is the one that you want to purchase. Now, from companies like the AA to the RAC and Car Vertical, these companies can do a full history breakdown on your vehicle using just the registration and or VIN number, and they can tell you if the car's been in an accident before. They can tell you if the car's still on finance, and they can also see if your car's had any mileage rollbacks.
Now, it may sound a lot of money to do that check, but it's really worthwhile, because what you don't want to be doing is buying a car that's going to end up costing you a load more money later down the line.
So Owen, I've actually gone ahead and bought the car. Is there anything that the viewer watching needs to bear in mind before they take their new car out onto the road?
Yeah, so before you take it away, you need to triple check that you've got all the documents that you need to take that car away and drive it on the road. So make sure that it's taxed, and certainly make sure that you've got insurance on it. But what you also need to remember is if you've just put the insurance on it, then it probably won't have updated on the ANPR systems and the databases yet. So there's every chance that it's going to show as not having insurance and you potentially getting stopped down the road. So just make sure that you've got access to the app so that you can show anyone that stops you and request that insurance that there is a live document to prove that you've got that insurance on the car.
So after watching today's video, you guys should know a little bit more about buying your next car. Now, Owen, on that note, are there any brand recommendations you'd have for someone watching this video?
No, absolutely not. What we've done today isn't about any particular brand or model, although we're outside these dealerships. It's not supported by any of those dealerships, and ultimately it's up to you what brand or model of car you choose that suits your needs. What we've done today is hopefully give you a little bit of an idea how to look for the new car and the options that are available to you. But ultimately for me, it's about you buying a safe car and a car that is legit. And on that note, I've seen a car over there that I quite like, so I'm going to go and have a look at that, and I'm going to leave you with
Thanks for your help, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your advice. But guys, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to use the link under the video today to get yourself a Carly device so that you can be one step ahead when it comes to buying your next car. But more importantly, smash a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. Give us all of your advice in the comments, as I'm sure the viewers will be reading through it. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. But more importantly, guys, subscribe if you want to see more awesome content. But for now, let's go see which car Owen's actually chosen.